First of all, thank you so much for sparing your valuable time. And let's start with your, career journey so far. What all things you have done and how exactly you started, being an officer to, retiring and
Okay.
starting your own
So first
organization.
things first, Rajni, thank you so much for calling me on your platform. It is indeed a matter of great pleasure for me, as much as it is for you being so humble speaking about that. Then I think the bigger pleasure, the bigger interest is mine. Now, so I was born in a town called as Yavatmal in Maharashtra. This place is called as Cotton City of India, and also features in UN endangered, some kind of United Nations survey has happened in this place because of the very fact that uh, largest number of farmer suicides anywhere in the world has happened in the district of Yavatmal. So I belong to that place, Cotton City of India. No water. So I was raised single-handedly by a single mother. I do not have siblings, and she ensured that I studied in a convent. I had the best of the best education that was available in the town of Yavatmal to any student in that time, 90s. So I did quite well in my schooling. I was a rank holder, I was a merit holder, and I even got National Merit Scholarship that partly funded my undergrads at National Institute of Technology, Srinagar, JNK. I'm an ITM. And so to put it subtly, somewhere in between, I'm an alumnus of the same college of which Sonam Wangchuk is also the alumnus. Yeah, so he's also alumnus of REC Srinagar, the then REC Srinagar, now NIT Srinagar. Funso Kwangru. So, periods, yeah. So I studied electrical engineering, and I remember one thing that my mother told me: uh, the more that gold burns, the more it glitters. When she came to leave me for the first time to Srinagar, JNK, very different kind of city, not a normal life, as all of us know. Kashmir crisis, counter-insurgency operations, and the disturbed valley. So I've stayed there as a student for 4 years, and I have had seen uh, both sides of the same coin as a student and being a member of the armed forces. So, um, so it was quite challenging in the beginning. Electrical engineering, I was really loving the subject, but I wasn't really liking the place, and absence of companies and uh, corporates in and around the city of Kashmir, city of Srinagar in Kashmir, made it really difficult for our students to plan our careers constructively. So, uh, what we did, we founded a club called as Lokanity Club, and there were representatives of every department in the club, wherein we used to come and brainstorm as a cohort to plan our careers constructively, including the winter internships. Unlike any other college in our country, NIT Srinagar gives you winter breaks because of the very fact that there's snowfall, Jan Feb, late December to Feb, there is snow, and because of the freezing temperatures, the college goes on a break. I think that's the most beautiful time in Kashmir. So that's where I obtained an internship twice at Tata Institute of Fundamental Research, TIFR. I have had the privilege of working under the father of Indian radio astronomy, Professor Govind Swarup, who passed away last year. I think anybody who listens to this video and have come across this word has not ever come across this word, probably should Google him, Professor Govind Swarup. So he is Padma Shri. So that's the time when I met my mother for the last time. I was working at Tata Institute of Fundamental Research, National Center for Radio Astrophysics in Pune, University of Pune campus, and I was working on my uh, uh, college capstone project, the final year project, we call it. And I was developing a prototype of a low-cost solar radio telescope with him. And that's when my mom came and met me, and she was very satisfied to see me progressing in my life. She said that I think probably she's raised me well. I was thinking about, so I remember her telling me that you're thinking about 5 years ahead of your age. Probably the difficult childhood, absence of a father, no siblings, no one to absolutely fall back on, hardships faced by my mother, She used to do odd jobs like tuitions, tailoring, uh, uh, post office, recurring deposit, commission agent. That's how the earnings came. We lived really hand to mouth. The childhood was really difficult. I think probably that put me on the right track. So, in my first internship, I'd earned some 9 grand and I'd taken flight for the first time from Jammu to Srinagar. Otherwise, the road is very hectic. The journey is not really good. I mean, not really heartening. It's a very disheartening journey for a student. 300 kilometers, 12 hours, and you keep traveling in that sumo. I'm talking about 2007, 8, 9. So when I landed on Srinagar airport, I saw on the left and the right bunkers and MiGs and aircrafts of the Air Force, Srinagar Air Base. And I'm like, when I was exiting the airport, I happened to see a pilot. He was wearing a Ray-Ban and his Air Force overalls. That's the day, that's the moment I felt this is the life I want. I'm going to do this. I'm going to be a fighter pilot. And then I happened to come across Top Gun. Top Gun is Tom Cruise's movie. And I was like, finest fighter pilots in the world, naval fighter pilots, landing on an aircraft carrier. So one day I rang up my mom and said, "Mom, I think I'm not going to take a placement in any company who's visiting our college. Probably, I think I'm looking forward to a career in the armed forces." And she was like taken aback. What the hell is wrong with you? My own one child, and you want to really put me in that fix? I was like, "Mom, listen. When I wear the uniform and I come home and I kiss your cheeks and I say, 'Hasta la vista, baby,' you're going to be the proudest mother in the world." Most proudest feeling in the world. The day you come and pip my stars on the shoulders, and I'll be like, "Yo, baby." I used to talk like this with my mom. So, unfortunately, I lost her in my seventh semester of the engineering, and she couldn't really witness the later part of my life. So, right from the seventh semester in the engineering, in my engineering, I am a one-man show. So, like my mom, she was one woman army. I have been a single man show, one man show since then. So, and unfortunately, she passed away a day prior to Bharat Petroleum Corporation visit, campus visit, BPCL. And she was very happy. And the whole college, because I was a training and placement coordinator from electrical engineering department, the whole college was like, "Dude, this guy is going to get placed in BPCL. And he's going to take away 12.7 is the package they were offering in 2010. That was a hell lot of money. So, uh, unfortunately, I had to leave that. I lost her on 12th of December 2010, and 13th PPCL was visiting. For our last rides, I flew overnight. I had taken help of some uh, army officers I had cultivated relationships with while I was there in Kashmir. They sent me home, and I came back and I appeared for my final year exams. That's the time I had filled forms for the Indian Army and the Navy. 20 university entry scheme. I still remember that. And UES, General Service Executive Branch in the Navy. So then I went for my final year project, completion of my final year project again back to TIFR. Mom wasn't there to witness my final year project. But then while during the project, I got the call for SSB. I went and appeared for SSB. I got selected in the Navy. And then while on my way back to college, I appeared for the Army SSB. I got selected, but I got All India rank 1. That was 14 SSB Allahabad Selection Center North. So I got All India rank 1 there. And then I was doing this Akkad Bakkad Bombay Bol 80 90 Pure 100. Which service to join? While Army was offering permanent commission, Navy offered short service commission. I purposefully chose Navy because I was really interested to fly a fighter in the Navy. Yeah. I really wanted to get into the Top Gun Pensacola, US Navy school. But for some policy reasons, I never got aviation branch. While I did have something called as pilot on my uniform, I am a navigator, navigation and direction specialist. I'm a helicopter controller, and navigating officers are called as pilots because they look after pilotage of warships. So I did become a pilot, but I piloted warships and not piloted aircraft. So that's how the journey began in the armed forces. Everyday affair. You're not doing a job, you're rendering service, and you've chosen a kind of life. So, but the point is, biggest challenge before joining the Navy, I have something. I had to step out in amidst thick curfew to post my forms, and I had taken help of the commanding officer of one JNK NCC battalion naval unit to post my forms. I remember the way I had organized a scooter from a Ladakhi classmate, and then having stopped twice, thrice by CRPF convoys while on my way to that NCC unit, and they were like, "What the hell is wrong with you? You stepped out in curfew." I said, "I'm a student. I want to post the forms. If I don't post them, my career will be at stake." So those guys were really good. They helped me. They were like, अपना कोई बच्चा आया है फौज में ऑफिसर बनना है, उसका फॉर्म पोस्ट करा देते हैं. So this brotherhood, unsaid relationship, वर्दी का brotherhood, this is probably uh, you know something that I have liked over and over and over again while my tenure in the Navy. You don't need to know someone. You just need to say, "Sir, मैं फौजी हूँ." बस वो रिश्ता ही काफ़ी है. It is a world within a world, actually.
Nice. That's nice. Okay, I have seen your LinkedIn that you mentioned that you were a group testing officer,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So, what exactly that is? What exactly they do and all?
So, anybody who wants to join the armed forces, whether Army, Navy, or Force, the person has to appear for Services Selection Board (SSB) or Air Force Selection Board. Now, this board is a board of selection panelists that consists of three different specialists. One is an interviewing officer, the other one is a psychologist, and the third one is a group testing officer. Group testing officer is a specialist who adjudges your group effectiveness and team dynamics in a complex group setting. So he's trying to find out your suitability to join the armed forces as a commissioned officer using the group approach to leadership testing. So GTO is a specialist, is a panelist in the selection board. All these three different types of analysts that I mentioned are trained at a place called as Defense Institute of Psychological Research, New Delhi. And after that, they have to undergo a very stringent training, on-the-job training in one of the boards, and they have to actually prove their mettle, whether they're really worth it to be given that veto power to select or reject the candidate appearing for SSB. So in my case, I became a group testing officer after 6.5 years of service, making me the youngest ever group testing officer in the Indian Armed Forces. Generally, the work experience that is required, or rather they choose, is I think 14 plus years or 15 plus years of work experience in the armed forces. Thereafter, you're chosen for this coveted course.
So, is there any special process or is there any special requirement if you want to be one of, to be selected in one of these three categories like group testing officers or interviewer or a psychologist?
So it's all it's a two-way game. One is your aptitude and your attitude to become an assessor, and the other thing is time and space and as per the requirements of the service. Service asks for volunteers, but the point is attrition rate is very high in this course. See, everyone is not rather a gifted observer of human psychology. And study of human psychology and interpreting that in terms of attributes of military leadership is an equally Herculean task. So I would say that so we always equate all my instructor people, those who have made me a GTO, they used to ask me only one question: what is the difference between a normal officer and a GTO? Because once a GTO, forever a one. So, and you'll be surprised to know that there are only 18 GTOs in the Indian Navy. Only 18. Yeah.
Okay, so what career path one should follow to become an officer in, armed forces?
Imagine that Indian Armed Forces is a very huge. It's a very huge kind of warehouse kind of a thing. It's a very huge thing, and for an entry into that hall or that warehouse, you have multiple doors. So there are few doors that open after your 10 plus 2, and there are some doors that open after your graduation or even post graduation. So after 10 plus 2, uh, the general entries that are available are the National Defense Academy (NDA). Now that the government has passed an order that NDA is open to females also, uh, we've heard that. But otherwise, 10 plus 2 used to be only for males, 10 plus 2 NDA entry. Then you have a 10 plus 2 tech entry Navy. That takes you directly to the Indian Naval Academy, INA, right after your 12th, wherein you do a 4 year BTech. And uh, and then you have an Army tech entry uh, that takes you to CME Pune. You do engineering at CME Pune, and then you get commissioned into one of the technical branches in the Army. So this is after 10 plus 2 broadly. And then after graduation, you have several entries. Like for Navy, of course, the UPSC entries, Combined Defense Services, CDSC, and there are a lot of short service commission and permanent commission direct entries. SSC Tech, non-tech for OTA in the Army. And after having qualified your Air Force Common Admission Test, AFCAT, various branches in the Air Force, flying, administrative, technical, L, engineering. And in the Navy, you have various entries. You just have to fill in the form after appearing for INET. You just have to exercise your option, whether you want to join SSC, pilot, or observers, or law, hydro, submarines, executive, um, things like that. So qualify the written examination, get a call for SSB, come for a 5 day interview schedule. We will try to find out who you are, try to find out about your personality, and we'll make up our mind in recommending you for a career in the armed forces as a commissioned officer. So that's finally the buck stops at SSB and AFSB.
So if I'll talk about those 15 OLQs, like go to Google, internet and you search. So everybody is talking about that you need to have 15 OLQs if you want to say that yes, you have in it you. So what are those 15 OLQs and what is the importance of those 15 OLQs?
Okay, so my experience of having seen about 12,000 candidates and raising or establishing India's fourth Naval Officer Selection Board. After having this experience and also having served as a GTO at 12 SSB Bangalore, uh, I think in my experience, you don't really need 15 officer like qualities, you just need only one. That is sense of responsibility. It is the mother quality. From that quality, everything flows out. Everything. So that 15 officer like qualities that you're talking about, they go like this, factor one, we call it as factor one, effective intelligence, reasoning ability, organizing ability, power of expression, social adaptability, cooperation, sense of responsibility, initiative, self confidence, speed of decision, ability to influence the group, liveliness, determination, courage, mental and physical stamina. If you were to really think through it, and if you were to just go to, Google, I'm sure there are a lot of people who have put across definitions of these also like qualities, and written by the nodal agency, Defense Institute of Psychological Research. So, if you were to really think through it, you'll be able to correlate. No quality is independent, but every quality is independent. And the mother quality is sense of responsibility towards yourself, towards your family, towards your friends, towards your society. Okay. So we're talking about uh, the kind of life we lived in 80s and 90s when there was no smartphone. Okay, so I would say that uh, so there is something which is called as lifespan developmental psychology. Uh, there's nothing like overnight these qualities are gonna just appear in you. They don't happen like this. बीज को पहले बोना पड़ता है, फिर उसको केयर करके पानी डालना पड़ता है, पेशेंस चाहिए, परसिस्टेंस चाहिए, परसिवरेंस चाहिए, फिर पौधा ग्रो होता है, फिर वो ग्रो होता है, बड़ा होता है, फिर उसमें फूल लगते हैं, फूल से फल उगते हैं. So it starts right from the young age. If somebody who's very young and happens to witness this conversation between you and me, I would say that if I look at the way I was brought up by my mom, um, it's something like what extra do you do outside your school curriculum that matters more than anything else uh, to become a uh, average potential officer in the Indian Armed Forces. I've used this word average potential officer because it is defined, it has got a definition. So, uh, how much do you go that extra mile uh, to know about your surroundings, what is happening around you? How much do you go that extra mile to keep yourself physically active, to keep yourself mentally active, challenge yourself every day, not only physically but also mentally? These are the things uh, that help in actually shaping up your practical intelligence and resourcefulness. So it's something like, anything and everything that is outside your school curriculum is going to help you develop, imbibe these qualities in a longer run. And you need to be responsible towards your family and your brothers, sisters, friends, your social group, your peer group, your subordinates, your teachers. That is a matter of upbringing. It's a very serious matter of upbringing. देश खाली मिट्टी नहीं होता. 130 crores, all of us stand together on this mitti. That means India. India doesn't mean, it's not defined by these coordinates. India means we the people. Swadesh, we the people. So that is society. Responsibility towards the society is something that needs to be ingrained right from the beginning.
That's great. Okay, so 12 reasons to join Indian Army as an officer.
According, let's talk very practical. It's absolutely practical. The kind of life, challenges, thrill, not only in terms of postings but also the extracurriculars that are open to you as an Indian Armed Forces officer. If you're really good at something, let's say in sports, Army will train you and send you to represent the country in Olympics. And adventure sports. I'm a paragliding pilot. I'm a diver. All thanks to the Navy. Then the pay is good. Free ration, sahayaks. They actually make you feel you are king. Live life king size. Okay, this word was on a lighter note. Nobody should mind this. That was on a lighter note, that your men actually make you feel that you are a king. The place where you go, you command your company, you become a CEO, you become a 2IC, wherever you go, they make you feel that you are the king. So that's the kind of life. Now, coming to the passion part, the emotional part, you can't buy a uniform. You have to earn it. The price that needs to be paid is sweat and blood. Stars, yeah, they look really good in the. There is something that I was reading today morning that सितारे चमकते हैं आसमान में, कभी पहनने की गुंजाइश की है, कंधे पे ज़्यादा अच्छे लगते हैं, something like that. So you can't really buy them. You have to really earn them. Then to work hard, and then things like Paramveer Chakra, Veer Chakra, पहनने का जुनून ही कुछ और है. ये सब चीज़ों को, medals, guns, that discipline, drill, that जोश, ये सब इसी प्रोफेशन में हो सकता है और किसी प्रोफेशन में तो हो नहीं सकता.
Exactly, exactly. And what is that one thing you love the most about your profession? That one thing. That okay, this is the thing which I love the most.
My profession, Navy is my family. It gave me family when I did not have one. After I lost my mother, I had no family. My friends were family. And in the Navy, I made a family. And I made family for life. While I'm retired, they continue to be a part of my life. So this is one thing that I love. And I think I'm going to take it with me, miles to go before I rest.
Because every day is different in Indian Army or Indian Navy or Indian Air Force. So how do you describe your day? That what all roles and responsibilities do you have? What all activities do you do? So that the people who wants to join, they will be able to understand. Okay, if I will be part of Indian Armed Forces, so I will be spending my day like this.
The day begins with physical training, PT, early in the morning, 6 o'clock. You wake up at 5, then 6 o'clock, you're line burn, PT, you're running. Probably you're running in the most pure environment. You're breathing the most pure air available to you, free of pollution. And then you do some kind of workout, you sweat it out. And then that actually reinvigorates your body. It actually gets your body kicking. And then general day-to-day work, if you were to be on ships, जिस डिपार्टमेंट में हो डिपार्टमेंट का काम चला रहे हो, अपने बंदों के साथ खड़े हो, you're commanding your men, you're leading your men for some job that is there, either a project or some kind of an operation that you're supposed to participate in. You're planning and executing things so that day ends at 4:30, 5 o'clock you go play. You play badminton, you play tennis, you play volleyball, whatever the game of your choice. You play till 7, 7:30, 8 o'clock, all friends meet, you party hard with your friends in the Officers Institute, Officers Club. Probably if you were to go crash around at a senior's place, saying, "Ma'am, khana hai kya?" The senior's wife, "Ma'am, khana milega kya?" So that's how the life is. And then next day again it begins. Then one fine day you find out that you're sailing and you're gone for a month, you're gone for days, and your loved ones are waiting for you. He's going to come back. And they have stopped doing all those things, what they want to do, but because you're not there, they are willing to wait for that extra time so that when you're back, they will do that. So the bond, it's so strong. It really works, the thing this guy talks about, Abhi, Shershah has become very famous, no, in our country, but people don't know about other Kargil martyrs like Captain Manoj Pandey or Captain Ken Guruse or Major Adhikari. I mean, I can go on with the names, but because movies made on him, so world knows about him. But it really is like that, live by chance, love by choice, kill by profession. Actually, सच्चा फौजी होगा ना, सच्चे मन से कोई फौजी होगा ना, उसकी लाइफ ऐसी ही होगी फौज में. एक्चुअली में ऐसी होगी.
So once you get recommended, so what is the procedure after that?
See, there are various entries. They have different medical standards. If you're supposed to fly an aircraft, you're supposed to have a 6x6 vision. If you're in the executive branch, you're supposed to have 6x6 vision because you're piloting ships. They cannot be compromised on your medical standards. So there are some things like you get temporary rejections or you get permanent rejections in medical boards. While temporary rejections are generally clearable, because when you appeal to a higher medical board, appellate authorities, they generally clear you. I mean, they would not want to hold you back because let's look at it the other way. We also want officers, and then service takes care of you. The service medical fraternity takes care of you. I mean, I can vouch for it. Doctors in the armed forces, AMC, they are the best. You would not find such dedication, uh, you know, in any other organization as such. The commitment. But just in case if you are medically unfit, then depending upon the category you are in, I'm sure there will be some kind of a breathing space where you would have some time where you can work on it and then come back again for that particular. If not for that particular entry, then probably you could come for some another entry where the medical category is still acceptable. But it all completely depends on the kind of category you are in. It cannot be a permanent rejection, something related to your lungs or something related to pressure difference on your eardrums, things like that. But still, in some entries it is acceptable, in some entries it is not.
Next is one line to your 10 years journey and one message for the youth that who wants to be part of, Indian Army.
Okay, one line is a life well lived, and one message for the youth who want to join these services. Um, so I just told this, I'm repeating it again. Uh, how passionate are you to go that extra mile to actually see those stars or stripes on your shoulders one day? How passionate are you? क्या दाव पे लगा सकते हो? The day you find an answer to this, I think you will get recommended. We really are not getting quality material in the, people who come to the SSB. We aren't really getting quality. Just listen to Sam Manekshaw. Sam. And then probably you will understand what I'm talking about. It's all passion. बाकी सब English है. It's all passion. Selection at a board depends on your performance for the day. Somebody who's been previously recommended just comes and tells us that I was recommended in the past doesn't mean that you will get recommended. We are looking for consistency. It's not like that one day you've participated well in the operation doesn't mean that the next day you will not do it. You will not do justice to your job. We are looking for people who are consistent. We are looking for responsible people who are consistent. So बहुत लोग जो recommend नहीं होते हैं, भले ही वो responsibility कहीं दिखाते हैं, but ऐसा भी होता है कि they are inconsistent in their performance. They are not consistent. And people need to start thinking out of the box. Because everything cannot be given in written. कि ये condition आएगा तो ये कर देना, वो condition आएगा तो वो कर देना. Because you will be subjected to practical situations of varying complexity in your day-to-day life in the armed forces. We would want somebody to take on the responsibility of thinking out of the box and leading your men way out of it successfully and safely. At the end of the day, जान दाव पे लग रही है लोगों की. See, when I appeared for SSB, I had not taken any coaching. I was literally living hand to mouth. I had to literally beg for money for booking a ticket because I knew that that money will be reimbursed and I'll pay back the person. And I didn't really like the food in my college mess. 2 टाइम राजमा चावल नहीं खा सकता था मैं. तो मैं इलाहाबाद इसलिए गया था इंटरव्यूइंग ऑफिसर को ये बोल के आया मैं, बिकॉज यू टोल्ड मी दैट यू गाइस आर गोना रिफंड माय मनी and you guys are going to give us good food and the stay is free here. That's why I've come here to give SSB. And people were fighting over Fatta Balli. And I was like, dude, you don't keep that, like, keep it like that. I literally remember my entire SSB, what I have done in Allahabad and also in Coimbatore. I literally remember that. It's been 11, 12 years now. So, I had not taken any coaching. I don't really know what happens in other coaching institutes. But my approach towards coaching someone is, I'm not going to coach people on Fattavalli. I'm not going to coach people on how to write stories. I am not going to tell them कि इंटरव्यू में अगर ये क्वेश्चन पूछेंगे तो ये आंसर देना. No, I am not going to do that. I am going to change your outlook towards life and towards the tasks that you undergo at an SSB. They are not tests, these are tasks. We say this thing, they have been so designed that they could be easily tackled by men and women of your age. There is no question of guessing the right solution. So, I'm going to change their outlook. I'm on a mission to train defense aspirants of today for the Indian Armed Forces of tomorrow. What forces were in 90s are not the same as they are today. So what forces are today in 2021, they are not going to be the way they are today in 2040 and 30 and 50. There will be an advent of technology. So forces are going to change. Attributes of military leadership will not change. So I'm thinking futuristic. आगे का सोच रहा हूँ मैं. So we keep discussing this in the conference. One Tom, Dick and Harry you select is going to be the next chief. Be very careful whom you're sending to the academy. Okay, on a lighter note. So it is all about the outlook. I keep telling my students, अच्छा मेरे को बताओ, अर्जुन इज कौनतेय, कुंती पुत्र अर्जुन था, गंगा पुत्र भीष्म था, देवकी नंदन गोपाला है, या फिर अंजनी पुत्र हनुमान है. Greatest warriors of Indian mythology. I'm not preaching Hinduism here. I'm not doing anything else. I'm just giving a normal example. ऐसा क्या चीज है जो ये लोगों को अपनी माँ के नाम से जाना जाता है? Just think about it and you will find some application about it in the SSB. I have gone to that level and I have gone to that depth. That's why my name is Nikhil Kumar Chandrakala. So Chandrakala is my mother's name. Yeah. It starts from that upbringing thing. I mean, that's where I'm trying to say that your God is your mother. It starts from that place. So I'm just trying to tell the world the way I appeared for SSB, come let's do it that way. I think probably you'll get recommended. They fake themselves. They are trying to fake things, but they are not passion driven. I've asked this question to several candidates in my, during the group test, I have asked this question to a lot of candidates that what do you think, who is the almighty? तो कुछ बहुत हाई फाई ज्ञान व्यान देते हैं, फिजिसिस्ट ये वो, सर ऐसा कुछ नहीं होता, यूनिवर्स बिग बैंग थ्योरी दिस दैट ये वो. So I say that he okay fine. Uh, when your hearts when your heart starts racing, किसको याद करते हो सबसे पहले? If you are in some tension, if you are in some pressure, because all that we do in SSBs, we try to regulate stress. They are all stress-filled situational tasks we subject them to. So when your heart starts racing, किसको याद करते हो? किसी के पास कोई आंसर नहीं होता. तो मैं बोलता हूँ ना, भगवान जिसको मानते होंगे अगर उसको याद करोगे तभी तो ये सब कर पाओगे. So I used to consider my mother as God. Sorry, God, not as. So I used to consider my mother God. तो ये अपब्रिंगिंग वाली बात है. 7th 8th स्टैंडर्ड से अगर किसी को प्रिपेयर कर रहे हो, बोल रहे हो 12th स्टैंडर्ड के बाद एनडीए जाना है, इट इज़ ऑल अपब्रिंगिंग. ग्रेजुएट्स है, खाली ओरिएंटेशन चेंज करना है. स्टॉप फेकिंग थिंग्स. Be yourself in SSB. And how to do that is what I do in my coaching. It's called as Integrated SSB Virtuosos Club, ISV Club. I don't really have any great points, but I would just want to say that कि फौज में अच्छे अधिकारियों की ज़रूरत है. ऐसे लोग जो 2040, 2050, 2060 में अपने पोर्टफोलियो के थ्रू भारत को विश्वगुरु के स्तर पे ले जाने में कंट्रीब्यूट करें, और एक योगदान उसमें भारतीय सशस्त्र सेनाओं का भी होगा. तो अच्छे लोग सामने आए, अच्छे मन के सच्चे, ऐसे लोग सामने आए भारत में, भारत के सशस्त्र सेनाओं में अधिकारी बनने के लिए. बस यही बोलना चाहूँगा. दिस इज व्हाट आई वांट.